10 seconds and we go.
All right, give me the countdown.
Let's go. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome everybody. Welcome to Books and Friends. This is the Books and Friends TV. I'm David Sccialpi. Great to have you here. Great to have you on board. Welcome on board for another super special live and interactive Q&A, live and interactive conversation with another super special guest order today. Joining me now directly from London, United Kingdom, a multi-award PR professional, super specialized in corporate social responsibility, sustainability. She's the founder of Serendipity PR and Media. She lectures at Coventry University. She's been working with many brands like The Economist, Cass Business School, as well as super personalities like the UK Prime Minister and Mayor of London. She's out with her newest book called CSR is not Public Relations, Corporate Social Responsibility is not Public Relation. Here in the Books and Friends room with us, Mrs. SANGEETA WALDRON. Good morning, SANGEETA. Happy Monday and welcome to Books and Friends.
Oh, morning. Thank you for such a wonderful welcome. And wow, you've just showcased my whole career very, very quickly. I'm really pleased to be here.
Thanks to you. Thanks for being with us. Thanks for joining us. It is an absolute pleasure. It is an absolute honor to have you here today with us. Super fascinating to catch up. Together with you, we're going to get more about all the things CSR and PR in the light of COVID-19 pandemic, as well as on your latest work, your latest book called Corporate Social Responsibility is not Public Relation, published by Lead, is already available on Amazon. Here we go. So everyone can buy that, but above all, everyone can use it because it's a super book. Before getting into that, before dive into our conversation Q&A, allow me to share a little bit of context, a little bit of way with our participants and followers to get in touch with us during the Q&A, to interact with us during this conversation. So hashtag Books and Friends, join the conversation, share your thoughts, questions, comments on all the things CSR and PR. SANGEETA WALDRON is here with us to answer your question, get back to your reflections in real time. So don't lose these opportunities, don't miss these opportunities. We are live on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Zoom, of course. So we can get started with the Q&A, SANGEETA, and we can get started. I'd like to ask you this stuff. So first question is much more about you. I get fascinated by your way of writing. The book is it's simply fantastic. It's full of examples, it's full of analysis, it's full of insight, perspectives, and scenarios, new scenarios about CSR, the world of CSR related to the world of PR in the light of COVID-19 pandemic. So the first thing that I wanted to ask, you've been able to write this book that, in my opinion, is everyone now can understand CSR because you've been able to simplify everything and make this stuff, make it democratize the world of this kind of world in terms of themes and arguments. I'd like to ask you this stuff. What has inspired you to write? What has inspired you and brought you motivated to become an author? And a little bit of behind the scenes related to the research journey of this new book that you have recently published.
Oh, that's a big question. So why did I write? I think there's lots of ways I could answer this, but I'd like to say why I decided to write this book is because I wanted to try and make a difference. And I've worked a long time now in public relations.
Yep.
And over the years, I have seen organizations and companies work, have CSR values, but actually are just paying lip service to it. Or they partner with a charity to show that they're doing something positive, but really all they're doing behind the scenes is beating the charity. We want more PR, we want more publicity.
Yep.
And I wanted to show that there is actually a way to do it, and there's a better way to do it, and it's easy. And I feel really pleased that you find the book accessible. It's easy to read, it's simple. I'm not complicated in any way. I want to understand things in an easy way. And lots of businesses want to do corporate social responsibility, but they don't know where to start.
Yeah.
And that was the thinking with this book. If I can help people to, if they want to become CSR-led, how do you do it? And how do you build it into your business strategy? Because that's the other thing. You know, companies want to make money.
Yeah.
You know, that's the bottom line. And you can make money and still be CSR driven and purpose led.
That's very
so, you know, we all have strengths. So I would say I'd like to think that my superpower is my writing.
Cool. is a big strength, and honestly, I found it very useful, and for sure, now professionals in the world of CR have a tool to correctly design and implement CSR programs. So it's no longer time for talks; it's time for action. So stop with this nonsense about just talking about CSR or just doing certain kind of initiatives. For example, green initiatives to maybe try to recover in respect to a negative impact on the society created by an horrible way of managing businesses, conducting businesses. So it's time for action. And it is time for action for many reasons, also financial reasons. So it is time now for CSR. And I'd like to ask you, we now get into this world. CSR is becoming and will be top priority in the agenda of many CEOs and big, large size organizations, but also governments and politicians, because they have to have a path to follow. I'd like to ask you, let's get to the basics. Let's get to the fundamentals. Let's try to understand what it is and what it is not, and why it matters today. So in this way, we can make sure that everyone can do it right and do it properly and get it done properly.
Well, first of all, there is a difference between corporate social responsibility and public relations.
Yeah.
They're not the same thing.
Yeah.
So corporate social responsibility is how you are doing your business. How are your suppliers? Who are your suppliers? Who are you partnering with? Yeah. Are they sustainable? Do they have? Are they plastic free? It's simple things, but it's basically how are you running your company? Yep. That's your purpose. Public relations, very quickly, I'm just sort of giving you a snapshot. Public relations is all about the media coverage, the publicity, the reputation of the organization. And how it used to be, I would say, even, in the early 90s, 80s, it used to be PR leading the corporate social responsibility. So it was sort of a whole lot of greenwashing. It was paying lip service to CSR. Yeah. Now what's happened, and especially with this pandemic, the global pandemic has given us a lot of things. We know it's had an emotional loss, it's had financial loss, it's had mental loss. But at the same time, it's accelerated a lot of our thinking. It's given us time to reflect. And one of the things the pandemic is proving, and it's showing companies that now consumers are looking to see how companies are operating and what are they doing, how are they doing their business. And there is survey after survey after survey, that's coming out. Deloitte has recently done one. There's a great survey by an organization called the Zeno Group. Yeah. They did an international survey where they surveyed 8,000 people from around the world, India, US, UK, Canada, Singapore. And what this survey showed, that 76% of consumers want to see companies being purpose-led. And that's where they'll be putting their money, their purchasing power. And also they don't want to just see companies doing the right thing. They also want to see the CEO actually doing the doing of being purpose-led, CSR, sustainable. So, I mean, there are so many reasons why organizations now, and as you quite rightly said, governments are, publishing their 10-point plans. The UK published theirs last November. Biden and China, well, he's recently talked about China and America now looking at their policies for climate change to reduce pollution, because they're the two most polluting countries in the world. We have Earth Day week, so there, it's joined up thinking. It's not just businesses leading this, it's not just governments, it's everyone, and it's us, the consumers, as well, with our purchasing power. Who are we giving our money to? Are those companies doing the right thing?
Interesting stuff. So we are at a tipping point, because we have lots of issues that in a certain way are putting pressure on countries, governments, and companies. So climate change, plastic pollution, disappearing forests, and of course diversity and inclusions. Lots of issues going on on this, and the global pandemic has accelerated this kind of process towards a change, a shift from a profit-driven society towards a purpose-driven society, in my opinion. Then we will see if this will happen in the short term, in the middle term, or in the long term. But we have the information that also the financial world is looking at this world, looking at the factors, the indicators when it comes to sustainability of a company and the impact that a company has on society when it comes to taking investment decisions. So millennials too are very focused on this kind of investments. So 70% of millennials said a great commitment towards the society and environment and respect of employees and customers, and is very important for them when it comes to take investment decisions and when it comes to corporations. So I'd like to ask you, based on by taking into consideration all this stuff. So we are in a new world. So and the new world means new expectations. New expectations when it comes to employees, new expectations when it comes to from consumers, new generation of consumers, new generation of employees, new generation, a new society. And this pandemic has created a new society and has created new expectations. So why, in your opinion, what do customers, employees, consumer stakeholders expect today? So kind of, overview about these kind of expectations.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much there. I mean, I just quickly want to go back to the financial world, which you just quickly read. I just want to quickly say something there, which is that investors now are looking at those companies that have CSR activities and actually doing and not just paying lip service to them. And so that those companies now are attracting more investments.
Yeah.
And I have something in the book which talks about that. Going back to what do employees want? I mean, although we're in a new world, the issues are still the same. And last year we had a lot of these issues come to the surface, which is diversity, which is part of your corporate social responsibility, which is about inclusion, which is again part of your CSR activities. Employees want to see, especially the next generation, they want to work for companies that are doing the right thing by the planet. That's the bottom line, that are purpose-led. And they're actually choosing companies
that give back,
where they want to work. And companies that want to attract that talent need to have CSR at the heart of their business strategy. Companies, the next generation, want to see companies that are diverse and inclusive. They want to see more people at the top, not just white privileged. They want to see more women and more people of color. and that's what they're expecting. And we can see, you know, there's been a lot of social unrest in America. We've had social unrest in this country during the pandemic. People are, you know, the next generation want action.
Yeah.
And they are a digital native.
Yeah.
And they are savvy on the internet. They are, you know, you can't just sort of fob them off. You know, they're savvy. They understand what's happening, and if they don't, they'll go and find out.
Yeah.
Now, with the age of the internet, there is nowhere to hide. You know, the spotlight's on you. And we've also had in the last year something called a cancel culture. So if the next generation, if they feel that you're not doing the right thing as a CEO or as the company, you'll know about it.
Yeah.
They'll call you out.
Totally agree with you. Totally agree with you. When it comes to the COVID-19 pandemic, I'd like to ask you this stuff. Do you think this pandemic crisis can lead companies and people to accelerate the adoption of a more sustainable approach to life, or they will get back to continue to, you know, have a negative impact? So I'm very curious about this.
See, that's a really interesting question, because we're at this tipping point.
Yeah. We lost. We lost Sangeeta. I don't know where she's gone. Lost Sangeeta. We will try to get back. We'll try to get Sangeeta back. We lost her. Cool. There we go. Lost Sangeeta. Sangeeta. We got some problems, guys. We will be back soon. Probably lost connection. It has lost connection. Try to send again. Be back soon, guys. A couple of seconds. We lost Sangeeta. Sangeeta. There we go. We lost her. We'll try to recover. We hope she can come back soon. So in the meantime, we were facing some of the perspectives related to the world of CR in the light of COVID-19 pandemic. We will get back soon. We hope and pray to get Sangeeta as soon as we can here in the Zoom room. In the meantime, of course, Sangeeta was helping us getting more about CSR and PR. And of course, we will be talking about the fact that new generation of employees, new generation of consumers are very aware of the fact that sustainability is an important thing for the society and for the world, and companies have to be more sustainable and be more CSR-led. For example, I can show you a couple of data that are that can prove data stats and facts that can prove that, for example, 60% of respondents prefer to work for socially inclined companies. Engaging in socially valuable projects can reduce employee turnover by approximately 50%, or according to Deloitte, for example, 70% of millennials studied listed their company's commitment to the community as an influence on their decision to work there. There is also a research from by Connect Communication found. Here we go. We got it.
I'm so sorry. Oh, of all days.
Thanks for getting back, Sangeeta. I was sharing lots of data and research about CSR. No worries. You are here with us.
You had to take the show on your own.
No worries. Where we are now, we were telling a little bit about this this expectations that new generation of employees and consumers and investors have when it comes to CSR. Let's get into the relationship between CSR and PR. So how have to work in hand to make sure that we can get the result that we need, so a more sustainable world and a positive social impact on the society and the world in which we live.
Yeah, I mean, there is a big difference between CSR and public relations. They're not the same thing. Public relations is about the way you promote a company. It's about your strategy. It's about your advertising. It's about your adverts, your press releases. It's all that kind of business. Corporate social responsibility, used to be the poor cousin.
Yeah.
It never used to get a budget. It used to be added on to something else. It used to sit within the public relations or the comms team. But now what's survey after survey is showing is that corporate social responsibility is actually very much part of the business strategy. It is not the public relations. It's not the comms. It's not the advertising. And when you have corporate social responsibility built into your brand, you will automatically, and I go into this within the book, you'll know what kind of relationships and partnerships to make. You won't have to work hard at your PR because it's effortless. And that's the thing, PR has changed as well because of the internet, because of the age of digital. Yeah. So the ways PR now is done is no longer about ta-da, here I am. It's about engagement. It's about conversations.
Be authentic.
And so when CSR is authentic within your brand and at the heart of your strategy, your PR just works, because your consumers, your followers will be automatically talking about your brand. Your reputation automatically rises. You don't have to work at it.
So and people will look at that, will feel that more sincere, more genuine, both from the employees and consumers or customers' perspective.
Yes, and there's so many great examples where brands have actually started this way. There's a really good brand that I like to sort of quote and use as an example, which is it's a makeup brand called Glossier. Yep. So everything about this brand has just been online. They've not done any sort of big campaigns. They haven't done any advertising. They have just done the right thing. So they've always made sure they're inclusive, they're diverse, their range, they're vegan, they're ethical. And what happened was people gravitated towards the brand and have their consumers have spoken so much about the brand that it's now a global brand name. And that's just all done because the brand has been CSR-led. It's been purpose-driven. It's been purposeful in its communications. And then, on the flip side, we can see those brands that haven't been CSR-led, such as I don't know whether you remember, but in 2020 there was a fast fashion house called Boohoo.com.
Yeah, I remember that.
And they were not treating their employees correctly. They weren't socially distanced when they were working. They weren't even being paid the minimum wage.
Oh.
And so
horrible stuff. And
people found out. And investors started to pull out.
Yeah, sure. because
So
they don't rely on this kind of practices, and it's also a matter of reputation, because if you don't have a great employee experience, probably you will not have also a great customer experience. And I'd like to ask you this: what are the companies that have successfully demonstrated to be, in your opinion, from your perspective as expert, CSR-led businesses, both in the B2B or in the B2C world? If you want, during the pandemic or in general, so some practical examples about it, or companies that do very well about it. So in this way.
well, during the pandemic, we have seen certain companies actually pivot really well and change their whole, even what they were producing. So some of the luxury brands like Louis Vuitton, during the pandemic, they saw there was a shortage of hand sanitizer, PPE equipment for the frontline workers. So they changed all their factories. So from producing luxury items, they were now producing hand sanitizer. So there've been certain companies that really got behind and done the right thing. Companies that have always been purposeful. I think there's one brand, and I've got them in the book, is Tom's.
Yeah.
They're a shoe brand. You know, everything they do, from the way they create their brand to how they market to the products they use, their supply chain is purpose driven. Another good one is Ben and Jerry's ice cream. Oatly milk has always, I mean, interestingly, Oatly had a backlash on social media about maybe 3 months ago now, because there was this story that was put out incorrectly that they had taken investment from a not sustainable fund. But it turned out not to be a true story. But even a brand like Oatly in this day and age, they felt the backlash. But now that they're back to doing, you know, their reputation's intact. So there are some, Selfridges is also another great brand.
Yeah, absolutely.
That does lots of things. And you know what? It's not just about doing lots of things. If you can just do one thing
and do it that better, do it that great.
Yeah.
And during the pandemic, I've been fascinated by how many companies of the fact that many companies have tried to, you know, compete, to demonstrate, to be, you know, close to the society by, you know, doing a sort of COVID-19 marketing, real-time marketing. You know? And but during the COVID-19 pandemic, other issues have raised up, like, for example, Black Lives Matter, and all this talks about racial inequalities, and I still remember one campaign, a campaign from Uber that was, if you tolerate racism, delete Uber, right? And was for supporting the Black community for that kind of issue. And I wanted to ask you this stuff. Do you think that Uber, as in the past, had also lots of controversial stuff in managing their own, you know, some situation related to their businesses? I'd like to ask, is this a kind of, you know, way to, you know, try to recover from negative reputation, or are they doing this in a genuine way? Because I've been seeing lots of companies converting their businesses because their business were going down. Some other companies successfully supporting the communities with genuine and super CSR initiatives and trying to give back. And in some other cases, you know, just trying to jump on the brand and on the wagon of the real-time marketing wagon to get more likes on social media. So what do you think? So do we need to be also ethic from the marketing point of view? We need a sort of kind of different approach also from this point of view, because social media is a leading company to compete for likes. The more likes they get, the more they go viral, the more the bad is high. So I'd like to ask you get your thoughts on this.
Of course they are. Yeah, of course they want more likes. Of course they're getting on the bandwagon. Yes. But will they sustain? Will they endure? No, because they will get caught out. There will be something along the way that will catch them out, whether it's the relationship, whether it's within their supply chain. So it could be the factory that they're working with, or the wherever they're sourcing their materials are not doing the right thing, and that will reflect on the brand.
So standalone initiatives make no sense. This is
It's got to be built into your business strategy. It has to be built into your business strategy, because then you will know who your supply chain is. You will know who your investors are. What do your shareholders want? What do your employees want? When it's just all half-baked, your employees will see through it. You won't keep the talent. People will go off and work for a company that's actually doing the right thing. And we have seen, there are so many examples where we have seen companies that just, I go back to boohoo.com because that's one that everyone remembers and thinks of because it's in our psyche. But yeah, these companies that are just jumping on the bandwagon, they will not endure. And that's greenwashing. That's the title of my book.
It's not PR.
Yeah, it's just, you're just paying lip service to it. Your activities, your CSR activities, your initiatives have to be at the heart of your brand.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree with you. So talking of CSR and the commitment of the governments about it, I read your book, and there is a chapter completely, dedicated to the world, to India, right? In India India has become the first CSR-led country. I'd like to get more on this because you're part of the CSR India network. I'd like to get your take on this. And of course, this law that has been implemented, made in CSR, is a kind of revolutionary stuff. Right, so probably India is leading the way when it comes to CSR. So I'd like to get your point of view on this, and if this stuff is going to work and produce generating results, or and if some other countries might follow this kind of practices.
Yeah, I mean, when you think of India, you don't really think CSR, but it is the first country in the world, and I think that's really interesting. It implemented the law in 2014, where it's mandatory for all companies in India, whether they're national companies or multinational companies, they have to give 2% of their profit towards corporate social responsibility activities. So it's been a success. When it was implemented, there was no resistance, and it's been a success. It's delivered on health and sanitary work. It's delivered on education, because India is, while it's one of the emerging economies, it still has lots of challenges with infrastructure, education, literacy for girls. So having a CSR law means that these issues will be dealt with. Also the other thing, the reason why I wanted to dedicate a chapter to India is because there is this kind of thinking that we have in the West, that it's the West teaching the East. But really, I think it's now the East also teaching us in the world that there is a better way to do business. Also, India has companies that have been doing CSR that have been purpose-led for more than 100 years.
Really?
That is their ethos. Some companies in India started from CSR and then have become multinational.
Wow.
And that's interesting. And also, India has a very young population. And it also has the fastest and the highest growing number of social entrepreneurs than anywhere else in the world. So it's a very interesting continent. There's lots happening there. And also CSR being purpose-led is very much part of the Indian DNA, you know, the cultural DNA.
Absolutely.
You know, yoga, you know, I talk about yoga in the book.
Yeah, I read that.
Yeah, so there's something there for everyone in the book. But, yoga also helps create a sustainable mindset.
Yeah.
And now it's been adopted by the UN. And it had an overwhelming resolution when it was voted in at the UN. For the first time in the UN's history, there was a unanimous support for making yoga, you know, an international day. So India is really interesting. And have other countries followed suit? Yes, China.
Yep.
Believe it or not, has also now implemented a CSR law.
They need
it. They need, I mean, yeah, they do. And then they're not, you know, sadly right now with what's happening in the world, they're not everyone's favorite person, you know, so they need to look at their reputation.
Yep, absolutely.
So this would be one of the ways to do it. Also, interestingly, France last week.
The Paris Agreement.
Yeah. They announced a new law where greenwashing will now become illegal, and those companies that are greenwashing will have a fine.
That's very interesting stuff, because that was a bad practice, and kidding also stakeholders, kidding consumers, kidding employees, kidding everyone. So in my opinion, greenwashing is a very unethical practice. And so do you think, the answer might be yes, India is a role model about it?
Oh, well, I don't know whether it's a role model because it still has issues there. You know, but they're trying to do the right thing. You know, they're trying to make change, and they've taken action.
Yeah.
How many other countries have taken action?
Few.
So I think, you know, I interviewed David Katz in the book. He's considered one of the global change makers right now. And I always remember one of the things that David said to me when I was interviewing him is, let's not beat people up, you know, just do better. And those that are doing better, you know, welcome it. You know, it's a start. I think India is a start. I hope more countries around the world will follow suit. They would look to India as an example. I don't know whether India is a role model. You know, I don't think any country in the world right now is a role model. I think if we were to look for countries that are role models, I would say New Zealand.
New Zealand, okay,
yeah.
Totally agree with you. And so do you think that will we get a sort of positive impact? Is this law producing a positive impact and positive results, looking at the facts and numbers? What do you think?
Yes, it is producing positive results. It's more than producing, you know, it's made change. It's
changing the mindset, changing the way they do business.
Yes, and it's not just creating, it's not just it's sustained change. It's not flash in the pan.
Okay. Talking of diversity and inclusion, this is an important, these are very important issues, diversity, inclusion, belonging. Everyone wants to belong to a company that has a positive impact on society. Everyone wants to be included. And everyone today, when it comes to new generation employees, want to work for a company that is diversity driven. So do you think, how important do you think it is for a company to have diversity and inclusion within the CSR values? Because usually when we look at the values, we find always the same values: integrity, responsibilities, but then we don't see the application and on a practical level. They're just statements, but we don't see the practical application of that.
There's no change. I mean, when we talk about inclusion and diversity, we're not just talking about color, we're also talking about women. And there are not enough women around at board level. There's not enough people of color around those decision-making tables, and we have seen that. Some of the ads that come out from companies where they have really, not hit the mark at all. And a good example is, I don't know if you remember, but H&M, the fashion brand, brought out a children's T-shirt, and they had it was a monkey sweatshirt on a little black boy, and the slogan was something about monkey business, something, but it backfired. It wasn't considered in good taste.
I remember that.
If H&M had the right people around, a more diverse, more culturally diverse people in that room, that ad wouldn't have gone out. People would have said, people, black people, brown people would have said that ad is not appropriate.
So
and also, again, data after data shows those companies that are more culturally diverse, more inclusive, are far more creative. They can weather different kinds of storms, and they are far more successful than those companies that are not. And again, it comes back to the next generation. They want to see more inclusiveness. They want to be able to belong to organizations. If they don't see people represented, at the top, then they don't feel inclined to join those organizations.
There are lots of researchers, there are lots of stats that prove that. For example, there is one from Glassdoor that says that 60% of job seekers consider workplace diversity an important factor when considering employment opportunities, and more than 50% of current employees want their workplace to do more to increase diversity. There is another one also about women, the importance of women in the board and the C-suite, in the C-suite level. Higher representation of women in C-suite level positions result in 34% greater returns to shareholder. This is from Fast Company. So we have lots of stats, we have lots of facts, but we still do not see a pragmatic and very driven approach when it comes to this. We need to do more. I'd like to ask you another stuff. I get fascinated by a kind of thought you have shared within your book, and it was this. So purpose is the new communications currency. Can you please elaborate more about that? Because I've been very fascinated by that sentence, that phrase in particular. I'm going to use that because I really appreciate that.
We hear purpose all the time now. We hear purpose-led all the time. It's in every kind of sector. So, and also purpose-led is something that we can all understand. What is your purpose? And purpose in this context is, what is the purpose of your organization? What is it doing? Is it doing the right thing in the way it's producing its products? Is it operating with purpose? Surveys, again, are showing that consumers want to see CEOs, leaders who are leading in a purposeful way. So you're being purposeful with how you are managing your resources. You're being purposeful in how you recruit your talent. So purpose is now, it's become like, as I say, it's become a currency. If you are dealing in purpose and you're working in purpose, then you have the right currency. Now.
That's very interesting stuff. There are lots of stats and researches that prove that purpose is key for getting results, but also for building building confidence when it comes to managing a business. There is a beautiful research from Deloitte. It says that organizations that are used to experience higher levels of confidence and more confidence are purpose-driven. So 82% are, sure they will grow because they will feel more confident when compared to the companies that are not without this, that operating without a sense of purpose. And 81% of respondents of this survey said that their stakeholders trust more their leadership team if the company is purpose driven. This is very interesting stuff because it's going to be a revolution when it comes to managing brands and managing businesses, also communicating this stuff. There is also a research from EY that says that purposeful companies outperform the stock market by 42%. So there is proof that being purpose-driven matters, and being purpose-driven generates results. So
yeah, it's a strong currency to be working in.
Sure, totally agree with you. Looking forward, looking far, let's get some predictions. In your opinion, what's the future of CR? What are the key predictions that we can, put and we share with all our participants and followers? So, what are we going to see in the next month? How is the world of CSR going to evolve in the next future? Maybe in the next 12 months, what are the key future scenarios when it comes to CSR we are going to deal with?
Yeah, so I mean, very simply for anyone listening, if you're not thinking about your CSR, you should be. You need to build it within your business strategy. Don't build it within your media plan. It has to be baked in within your brand, within the heart of your business. And what we're going to see, and what surveys are showing us, and data, there is so much data out there, but it's showing us that CSR, corporate social responsibility, is going to continue to be really high on the business agenda. Consumers are going to want more from companies, more from organizations. Governments are going to be looking for businesses to because governments also got their own agendas, and they'll be working with those businesses that are purposeful, that are CSR-led. And also we can see some of the biggest companies right now. We have Bill Gates who are investing in CSR. So if you're not doing that, then you're not going to stay the course. You're not going to be a sustainable brand. The other thing that we're going to also see a lot of is with the digital age, we're going to see more technology influencing us. We've already seen how technology and the digital age can impact reputations. So we'll be seeing that's not going to go away. We're not going to come offline. We're going to still be doing a lot online. Brands will have to learn to exist online. So you have to ensure that you are purposeful within your business strategy. That, I would say, is the takeaway. If you're not doing it, you need to be doing it.
Talking of this new media landscape in which we are all going to operate, do you think that digital PR has completely replaced traditional PR? And how do you think that how has technology changed this media landscape? Because we see lots of changes, and when it comes to PR, when it comes to communicating, when it comes to creating a reputation, building reputation, there are new dynamics. There is a new context. There are new, kind of situation we need to deal with.
Absolutely. I wouldn't say it's replaced. What's happened is traditional PR has been integrated within the digital communications, digital PR. It's driving. And one of the things that has come out of this digital revolution, especially in PR and marketing terms, is this whole concept of being authentic. Authentic is a term that's grown in the last 10 years.
Absolutely.
It wasn't really there before. So yes, and now, I mean, there's this really great fact. In 2017, the UN released data. Do you know, more people in the world have access to a mobile phone than access to a toilet, right? Which means that e-commerce is huge. Whatever we're doing on social media is huge. Yeah. And that is driving PR. So companies now need have a digital presence. If you don't have a digital presence, then I'm not, you're not going to survive. And again, what the pandemic has shown us, the local high street, local communities, local shops, they struggled, but those shops that managed to get online, small retailers, they have survived,
because of digital, right?
Yes, because of digital. And that, digital, yes, it's very polarized. It can be quite negative, but if you use it in the right way, if your PR is authentic, that means if you have led with your CSR, it will ensure that your PR is authentic, you're not greenwashing, then you've got nothing to worry about.
Will pay off.
But then you've got nothing to worry about. You're doing the right thing.
No doubts, will pay off. So we are more or less at the end. Our time is running out, and will organization, this is more or less my final question. Talking about sustainable investing, what do they mean? What does it mean, sustainable investing? This is going to be my last question. And will organizations invest more money in CSR in 2022?
Yes. I mean, sustainable investing is people who want to put their money in companies that they know have authentic corporate social responsibility activities, that are doing the right things with diversity and inclusion, that have that have a track record for, reducing their carbon footprint. Investors are looking for those companies to put money in. They don't want to take chances, because then when the reputation is affected, the stock markets, the money falls. Yeah, so it's simple. We all know, you want to put your money into something that's positive. So investors are looking for those companies, and that is driving investment right now. And is that going to grow? Yes, it's shown. Trends are showing that. It's not something that's a flash in the pan. It's not a trend. It's something that will continue.
It's here to stay. It's here to stay.
It's here to stay.
Cool. Fantastic. So last question. And I'd like to ask you this. What wisdom would you like to leave us with to inspire business leaders to better do CSR and PR? This is my last question. It's more, thoughtful question.
You know what I'm going to say? Buy my book.
Of course, we already got it. We got the book here in our hands.
But seriously, I think it's, stop thinking about it, just do it, just do, start simply. It can just be one small thing, but start to build CSR into your business strategy.
That's very interesting stuff, guys. We are at the end of this journey, this episode of the Books and Friends TV. It's been an absolute pleasure to have Sangeeta here with us, helping us getting more about the world of CSR and PR in the light of COVID-19 pandemic. The time flies, and of course, Sangeeta, I'd like to thank you for being with us, for helping us getting more about this new trends, this new the latest evolution when it comes to CSR and PR in the light of, as I said, COVID-19 pandemic. Again, you are out with this new book that is called CSR and Public Relations. I'd like to ask you if someone wants to get in touch with you, if someone wants to collaborate with you, how to get in touch with you.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for, sharing your time with me. I've loved it. I've just loved the questions as well. And it's been a great conversation. Yeah. I'm an open networker, so people can connect with me on LinkedIn. So it's my name, Sangeeta Waldron, on Twitter. So I would say Twitter and LinkedIn are the places to find me.
Fantastic. Or if you want, they can get in touch through your by reaching your company, Serendipity PR and Media, right?
That's right. Yes.
So that will be another way.
We should work together.
Yeah, of course. And again, published by Lead Publishing. CSR is not public relations. It's available on Amazon. You can buy that, but above all, you can use that. Stop talking about CSR. Start working, start practicing that in a proper way, in a very pragmatic way, because we have the models for action, we have the analysis, we have the new perspectives, we have all the scenarios here in this book. So just do that.
Just do it. Yeah, just do it.
I do want to greet and thank all our listeners for watching and following us during this episode of the Books and Friends TV. If you really enjoyed and loved and liked this episode of the Books and Friends TV, simply subscribe our YouTube channel. We will be back soon with another super special Q&A. On April 29, we're going to be joined by Professor Ellen Esper from London School of Economics. She's out with a new book that is called The Digital Disconnect. We're going to have a Q&A with her on all the things digital inequalities. So that's a very interesting stuff. So it's going to be unmissable. If you want to get more about all the authors that collaborate with us and all the info about the next Q&A, simply get to booksandfriends.eu. That's all. Thank you very much indeed again for following us and watching us. And I'll leave you with this quote from the Sangeeta's book. Purpose is the new communications currency. Sangeeta Waldron. Thank you, Sangeeta.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
Day. Yeah.
Have a great day. Cheers. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.
See you next. Bye. Bye from Books and Friends. Bye-bye.